Rashi Monwick, as John said. I'm with McDermott, Cloutier and Miller, representing the applicant. This is Barbara. Hi. As I'm sure several of you know, she's been in the community for several years. We are looking today to expand the units at 276 to 282 Hanover Street. Basically what we want to do is join the two buildings so that will allow not only for more units to be developed in the space, but then also to allow for two means of egress, which was in the fire last year is important. And you know, the expanded units as well obviously is important given the mayor's goals in expanding units for the city. We're going to go from 16 units to 20 units, new sprinkler systems, we're going to 8 2-bedrooms and 12 studios. As for the zoning process, we filed for the appeal currently. We have one more meeting. We have a meeting on Thursday with NURA, and then hopefully we can get a date after that.
Can you clarify just I know there's a little confusion in the beginning with notice and the plans?
With oh yeah, so there's no height. The first flyer that was sent out said it's at 16 stories to 20 stories, which was obviously not true. So it's just 16 units to 20 units. Floors 2 through 5 are going to be renovated.
Council.
So, okay, so you had 16 units.
Yeah.
What was the original size of the units at 16?
I think the size now proposed will be very similar. I think around 500 square feet or so, average.
Well, how could it be? I mean, if you're taking the same amount of square footage.
Well, you're filling in the hole in the middle.
Right.
So how much? I guess how much space? I guess what I'm trying to wrap my head around. How many? What's happening with the? Are the units getting smaller?
A little bit smaller, yes.
In the rear, but on that's right. See that there's a opening, which is where the fire patios are now located. So this will all be closed in. That's where you're gaining the space, and then you're completing hallways on the next page to come down, and then you have double egress to the building.
And so a 2-bedroom unit is going to have how many square feet?
It's on the left.
Yeah, the last page has a breakdown of square footage per unit.
Well, no, I see the square footage. When it doesn't, listen, I've got bad eyes. I'm not seeing how many bedrooms. That's why I'm asking the question. So I see that it's 20 units and 435 square feet. What I'm not seeing is 2-bedroom units. How many square feet will those be? There's no breakdown of that.
Right.
So like unit 10 is 545 square feet.
So the largest bedroom is, so the 545, that's obviously the biggest unit. That's going to be 2 bedrooms. It's awfully small, don't you think, for a 2-bedroom?
I mean, it does allow for more units to be provided for.
Well, yeah, sure, of course it does. I mean, you could squeeze in 24 units and have them at 400 square feet, right? If you wanted to. But I mean, it just seems like it screams, certainly it's not a way to bring in families. It's a way to, bring in people who are going to screams Airbnbs is what it screams.
I mean, obviously there's a new policy that the mayor we're putting in, so we'd be adhering to that new policy in regard to Airbnbs. I don't think it's not going to be, it's just going to be for long-term rentals.
Long-term rentals?
Yeah.
How big are the bedrooms?
They're basically 8 by 12, I think. Just 5. These bedrooms, the 2 bedrooms, which are the front facade, nothing's changing from what was pre-existing in there. There were originally 2 bedrooms in the front.
And you have the abutters, did you say, or?
Yeah, the last ones, there were no butters neither.
Can you speak to that?
No
Nothing?
issues, yeah.
What's the specific zoning relief you're requesting?
So the 3 violations we were cited for are FAR, for area ratio, open space regulation, and parking.
So what's the FAR? What was the FAR? What's it going to now?
I wonder if I have the specifics. I don't know if I have those specifics on me. I can get that to you.
You don't have the FAR? What it was and what it's going to?
I know the proposal too, while you're looking for that, just think, said, and a restaurant. I mean, I know it's already, there's already one there, but is there a reason for the language like that? Just because.
Oh, that's just how the occupancy
You
is.
just have to change it like that and say in a restaurant.
Yeah, so the restaurant isn't changing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize, I don't have the FAR.
Okay, yeah, Maria? Maria?
You're going from 16 to 20 units to a restaurant. Would you just tell me from the, where are the fire escapes? Do you have any fire escapes?
So we've already talked to the fire department. They will not permit fire escapes on the front or the rear of the building. The back of the building is blocked in. Front of the building, they said I cannot put any type of fire escape on the front. You're putting a double egress, that's why we're having to combine the buildings. So you have a double egress in the front and you have 2 escapes at the roof.
What's, who's federal investments?
That's the entity,
That's your company?
Yes,
Is it, do you own other properties?
yes,
How many other properties?
6,
6 buildings
yes.
in the north end?
Not all of them, I know.
How many in the north end?
1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm also a realty investor, so that's 5.
And is it, it's 15 to 20 or 60? Because it says 15 on the sheet, the fact sheet, and I think I only count 15 on the plans. Is that just?
Oh, there was a mistake because they,
Yes.
we had a problem, the tenant tore down a wall. That I had tenants right next to each other. They thought it would be convenient to take down a wall and not tell me. And then we ended up with 15. So the top floor became 1 unit. And then we went back to 16 when I evicted the tenant.
How many people did you have living in it prior?
Each unit was full and there were 2 people, actually I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 singles and the rest was doubles, couples.
Okay, so you're reducing the amount of occupants that are the total capacity building? Just make sure like how many?
Well, if you
I'm sure you're
add,
increasing the units, but I'm just trying to see like how many people.
Well,
how
in
many
the back,
residents-
you don't
how many
think-
tenants are you planning, how many tenants did you have prior and how many tenants?
oh, we had 24 and this, we maybe have 26 depending upon because in the doubles you have a more workable area where before when you lived in a 2-bedroom unit it was like unworkable. You actually had to walk through the other person's bedroom to get to your bedroom and then walk all the way to the other side of the whole building to get to the bathroom. They're very old units.
Yeah. So you're increasing the amount of.
So
tenants.
about like 2 to 4 people I would suspect from the front units, but in the back, you're only getting, I mean, a studio, you're getting a single person.
And so the means of egress is not really changing, so that you can't put something on the front.
Well,
you can't
the
put it in
means of
back. So
egress-
you're increasing the amount of tenants, but I mean, it's something like that.
Well, the means egress, the buildings were not combined.
Yeah.
It's 2 separate buildings. You couldn't cross building to building, which was the
So
whole,
now
in
you-
the
so
middle.
now it's,
And that's where the fire patios were connected to everybody's window.
So you're trying to get at the issue of safety and preventing another thing to happen.
Yes.
And that's, even though you're adding more people, there's still adequate egress.
Yes.
You able to find out the floor area ratio?
Oh, I will,
Were you able to find,
no, I'm sorry, I don't have that on me, I can,
I'm gonna guess you're above 3. Is that fair to say? Which is the
Um,
north end minimum, or
right.
maximum is 3. I'm gonna guess you're above 3.
right, if it was, yeah, in excess, yeah,
And you're increasing the FAR with this proposal?
right.
You said the variances are FAR, open space, what was the third?
Parking.
Parking.
Which is,
Was there any thought to making these units bigger, like more livable? 'Cause, 2-bedroom, 500 square feet is pretty tight. Any thought to making them more manageable, bigger?
Well, I went around the north end and looked at all, like our studios are actually way bigger than some I've seen. I've seen things that are about 230 square feet. In my other building.
Those are a rarity.
Oh, what?
A 230 square, that's a rarity. That's not common practice by any means. In the north end?
Yeah, but he said a studio has to be 450 square feet. And then when I talked to the zoning board prior to the meeting, just to bounce things off them of what they're looking for, he said these were acceptable measurements. because he said a one-bedroom or studio could be 430. So anything above that you can put a 2-bedroom in, he said it was justifiable.
So a studio can be 430, but you're squeezing a 2-bedroom into 500 square feet, right?
Right.
Does anyone else in the council have questions before I open up to the audience? Anyone in the audience? All right, hearing none, I would ask that we vote and turn them into me here. Thank you.